I'm going to teach you 7 simple strategies on how to market your product or service with $0. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to teach you one marketing hack that some companies are using to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month without spending any money on marketing, which is super easy to implement. I've been doing digital marketing for over 10 years. I own a digital marketing agency called Method Marketing, and we help companies doing 7 and 8 figures with their digital marketing, such as Facebook ads, Google ads, websites, and their SEO. So I want to mention 2 common mistakes that people make with marketing when they're jumping into this, especially if they're new to marketing and they're trying to get out there. One is, if you are making less than kind of $200,000 or $300,000 a year, I wouldn't put too much time and effort into paid advertising. And you're probably like, why the heck are you saying this? Like, because I own a business that does paid advertising for companies. But if you don't have the money, like if you don't have $1,500 to $3,000 a month that you can spend without kind of losing your sleep over, you probably don't have enough money to do paid advertising yet. So one of the big mistakes I see people make is they come to me and they're just starting out and they're like, oh, we want to do all this paid stuff, and it's just simply not in their budget. It's going to stress you out if you don't have it, and it takes a while to get to work, and you have to test a bunch of things. So if you can't float that like $1,500 to $3,000 comfortably a month, I would recommend staying away from paid advertising at first and doing all these other strategies I'm going to mention. And then once you have that money, then you can invest more into paid marketing. The other thing I see people doing that's a big mistake, I think, is just constantly getting on the train with like what is trending. So they're, focusing on, TikTok or whatever it is, that's something that's trending, and avoiding focusing more on things that are actually going to work best for their business. So every business is a little different, and you want to be focused on where your clients are, where your ideal customers are, where they're hanging out, and putting your effort into that. If you're getting a lot more traction on cold email, then focusing on that, or if it's, on Instagram, then focusing on that. Like, focus on what's working with your ideal customers and stop focusing too much on what's just trending currently. The first low-cost marketing strategy that I'm going to teach you about is leveraging your existing social network. It's important that everybody in your existing network knows what you do for a living, because a lot of them probably don't. I was shocked once when I'd been doing something for a number of years and I talked to my mom and she's like, what do you do again? And she didn't even know, right? And so people can't refer businesses to you or refer you business if they don't know what you do. So what I would recommend is posting on social media at least once a day and just adding value, helping your clients solve their problems, so whatever that is, and then adding in some posts about your personal life as well, just so it's not all about business all the time. But by simply letting your existing social network know what you do, they're going to want to refer people to you. And if you think about, say, even if you only have a couple hundred friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, those couple hundred people know another couple hundred people, and those couple hundred people know another couple hundred people. So your existing social network is actually very powerful at getting your business going, especially at first. So I'd highly recommend making sure your existing social network knows what you do for a living. The second low-cost marketing strategy that I'm going to teach you about is to follow up with your existing leads. So many people drop the ball on this, even companies that we work with doing 7 or 8 figures, where they follow up with their lead once and then they just forget about it and don't follow up with them again. There's been so many studies that have shown over and over and over again, you often have to follow up with people 7 to 10 times or even more before they are likely to purchase. So what you need to do is really teach yourself to treat your leads like your wife got lost in the woods, right? So if your wife got lost in the woods, you wouldn't simply call once and try to figure out where she is. You'd be calling, texting, emailing, and you wouldn't stop until you found her, right? And the same thing, should be about following up with your leads. You should call them, text them, email. You don't have to do it all at once in one day, but spread it out like 1 week on Monday, and then the next week and the next week, until they either basically tell you to screw off, or they're not interested, or they buy from you. And quite often you'll find is a lot of them do actually want to buy from you. You just caught them at a bad time the first time. The third free or low-cost marketing strategy that I'm going to teach you about is strategic partnerships. This can be extremely powerful. I can't emphasize enough how one good strategic partnership could blow up your business, completely change your life, skyrocket your growth. So what I mean by strategic partnerships is forming a partnership or even just a friendship with someone who has access to all of your ideal customers. So say, for example, you're a realtor. If you know the top mortgage broker in your area and you're really good friends with that mortgage broker and you've developed some sort of relationship with them, chances are they're going to send you a ton of business if you're a realtor. So just forming these partnerships, they exist in all different industries. For us, I found that developing relationships with business coaches was very good because business coaches deal with people who are trying to grow their business, and people who are trying to grow their business need help with their marketing, right? So I've been referred a ton of business from people who, from business coaches. So you really want to find a really good strategic partnership, and it doesn't have to be monetary. When I first started, I thought, well, I don't really have much to offer these guys because I can't send them a ton of clients back. But if you just simply become friends with them, you add value to them and they like you, they're going to want to send you business. So even just that can be enough. So strategic partnerships, or you could call them strategic friendships, are extremely powerful in growing your business, and they cost you no money to do. The fourth low-cost marketing strategy I'm going to teach you about is Google Local Services. So if you own a local service business, this is extremely important for you. If you don't own a local service, it might not apply to you, but I got to mention it because it's a goal of mine. Because Google has launched this new service where you can show up at the very top of Google for your local services ads, and it costs you no money unless you make the sale. So it's basically guaranteed that you only pay if you make a sale. So while it does cost you some money, it's basically, zero risk marketing, which is almost unheard of these days. And you show up at the very top of Google. And quite often we find the leads doing Google local service ads cost almost 5 times less than if you were paying for them through regular Google ads or another form of advertising. The fifth low-cost marketing strategy I'm going to teach you about is cold calling, cold emailing, and cold DMing. Now, this can be very effective when growing your business on a low budget because it doesn't cost you any money to send emails and call people, call your ideal customers and pitch them, right? Now, the trick here is that you have to have a really good pitch. You have to have an offer that's so good they can't refuse it, right? So this usually means you're emailing somebody and adding a lot of value first before you ask for the sale. So for example, if you do website design, you could reach out to them and have already designed their homepage, like redesign their homepage and send them an example of, hey, like this is what your site could look like. And yeah, you put some time and effort into doing that, but that could get their trust and their attention to get you to build out their whole website, right? Or if for us, we email people and we'll do an audit on their marketing and say, hey, here's all this low-hanging fruit that you're missing with your marketing, and we could help you make money by doing X, Y, and Z, right? So you're adding value up front, and you're being personal in your emails and being, making sure each email is tailored directly to that person. Now, if you are a bigger business or you can afford to do bulk cold emailing, like we email 500 people a day, that's a different story. But if you're just starting out, you're probably going to be better off emailing people personally. And yes, it's a grind. Like this stuff is really just a numbers game. You have to call and email a lot of people, like thousands and thousands, often before you get like some really big stuff happening. But once you kind of figure out that offer and you figure out the right email, it's just a matter of replicating it and sending out more, and you're going to start generating some business. It's a lot of just trial and error at first. The sixth low-cost marketing strategy I'm going to teach you about is to upsell your existing customers. So many people miss the boat on this. They forget to upsell their existing customers on their other products and services, and this can simply be done, especially if you have a low-ticket service or something like that, like a hair salon or a nail salon or something like that. You just have like an email list and a text list, and every month you put out a different promo on a different product or service. Maybe you put some e-commerce products in the newsletter, or this promo push that you do every month. And that reminds people of all these other products and services that you sell, and it costs you virtually no money to send that out and promote it, and can generate a ton of money for you. We've made over $50,000 in one day for some companies just by sending out an email, and it cost them $0 in advertising. The seventh low cost strategy for marketing that I'm going to suggest that you do, especially if you're a local business, is Google Business Listing. So this is like the Google Maps section, and you want to be showing up there. And this is the hack that I mentioned, that we're seeing companies make over $300,000 a month just from their Google Maps. It's crazy. Like, I wouldn't have even believed it until we set up all the tracking and saw it. But for some companies, we're seeing them generate a ton of business from this map section, and that's because Google prioritizes like your physical location and shows you where these companies are in the map section when you're looking for them. So it's something like over 40% of people are looking in the map section for local businesses, and you can generate a ton of money from doing this, and it costs you no money to set this up. It just takes like a day or two to get all the right information there and to optimize it. And you can go further into that if you want, but basically it costs you no money at all and can generate you a ton of money. Now that I've given you all these strategies, there's one other thing that I want to mention, and that is you really got to take massive action on all this stuff. So you can't just, put in a little bit of time here and there. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you want to get really in shape, you got to go, you got to put in the time. You got to go an hour or 2 hours a day, every day, and work on this stuff if you want to get in tip-top shape, or if you want to really get your business growing. And it's just a grind at first, honestly. Like, it's can be kind of depressing, and you feel like you're getting nowhere, and it's really tough. But you got to just push through, and eventually some things will click, and you just got to put that time in your calendar and just grind it out. And eventually, you'll start to see progress and start to see things grow. And then once you have the money, you can put more money back into paid advertising, and that can generate you a lot more business without having to do this more like kind of grinding work. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please do subscribe and comment and like and all that stuff.